Cincinnati hosted a memorable All-Star Weekend that baseball fans will surely never forget. Starting with the Derby, the hometown player Todd Frazier hitting the towering 14th home run in the bonus round to beat Jock Peterson, and in the actual game, the All-Stars didn't disappoint as they put on a clinic. The fans got to see a little bit of everything: dominant pitching, patient hitting, great base stealing, and of course, the long ball. Now, the break's over. It's back to business as usual and time for these teams to make their push for October baseball. There's a lot of uncertainties going into this second half, but which ones are the biggest? The most immediate uncertainty is if any of these big-name players are going to be dealt at the trade deadline. We've heard a lot of names being thrown around, and all of them can help teams make a playoff run. Some of those big names include Cole Hamels, Johnny Cueto, Todd Frazier, James Shields, and other players as well. And then there's the uncertainties that will unfold over the course of the second half. There's a lot to look at, but I'm only going to select a few to talk about. First, there's been some pleasant surprises by teams who weren't expected to do much of anything: the Astros, Twins, and Rays. Will the teams finish strong and possibly make the playoffs, or will it be like past years where they fall short? The only hope for any of these teams to make the playoffs is if their offenses can score enough runs for their pitching. Next is the surprising play by the New York teams. Can they keep the fans' hearts beating in the city that never sleeps, or will they still be among one of those cities that doesn't contend? For the Yankees to keep playing well, they need another starting pitcher. None of the pitchers have shown they can put together a consistent stretch of good starts, and the offense is forced to work that much harder. The Mets have the opposite problem. Their starting pitching's been great, but their offense is terrible. They're 28th in baseball, scoring only 310 runs. Good starting pitching doesn't do anything for you unless you have an offense behind you that can score runs. They need to try to get at least two big bats in that lineup. Next, we look at two teams who have been big disappointments in 2015, the Red Sox and Tigers. Can either of these teams turn it around and be contenders again? Well, the good news is for both teams, their offenses are starting to come alive. The Tigers, though, have a much bigger hole to come out of since Miguel Cabrera is out for 6 weeks. But the Achilles heel for both the Sox and the Tigers is their bullpen. They give up too many home runs in the late innings of games. That can't happen, especially at this point in the season. They gotta start getting guys out. Lastly, I'm looking at two players on the Dodgers who haven't exactly played up to their potential this year: Clayton Kershaw and Yasiel Puig. Can either of these players bring the glamour back to LA and produce like they did in 2014? It's possible that the production from Kershaw and Puig, or lack thereof for that matter, could be the difference maker in the Dodgers being division winners or fall to second to the Giants and be a wild card. When both players are on, they're two of the best players in baseball, without a doubt. And it would make the Dodgers that much better if they played well. These are just a few things to keep an eye out for the second half of this Major League Baseball season.